just read an article about the health benefits of cold showers. Tried taking a cold shower today, you guys. Was not a fan. I don't like starting my day seeing my penis look really shriveled and tiny. And hopping into the cold shower after that's pretty brutal. My name's Matt Kinney. Dude, people made fun of me growing up because I was like overweight in elementary school. They called me Fat Matt. Then I lost the weight in middle school. They called me Skinny Kinney. Alright? Now get this, alright? In high school, nobody talked to me. This is kind of cool. I just found out the male G-spot is in the prostate, and the only way to get to it is through the asshole, which I think is kind of cool. I think finding the male G-spot is kind of like finding the remote in the couch. You spend a long time looking for it, and you realize you've been sitting on it the whole time. My therapist thinks a lot of my depression comes from what she calls mind reading. So I assume I know what other people are thinking about me, and that it's negative, and that causes me to be depressed. She did not tell me that, but I know that's what she's thinking. I just ran into my ex-girlfriend I hadn't seen her in like over a year. I asked her if she wanted to have makeup sex. She said no. She made me take the makeup off before we had sex. This new girl I'm dating, she just found out she's allergic to latex, actually. She found out she kept getting this rash around her vagina. She looked it up. It turns out it's caused by the latex in condoms. The only problem is that we actually have not had sex yet. So, I think either she's cheating on me or I need to quit fingering her after I make balloon animals. One of those. I was walking in my neighborhood recently. I got bit by a dog, a pit bull. It had my foot in its mouth for like 20 seconds. I don't know why that's funny. But pit bulls' jaws are so strong that there's really like nothing you can do once they get a hold of you. But I found out afterwards there is one thing you can do. It sounds weird. If you stick your finger in the pit bull's ass, it gets it to release its jaws. And that surprised me personally because I am pretty sure that's why the dog was biting me in the first place. It's too bad. It's been a tough few weeks for me. My grandpa actually passed away pretty recently due to organ failure. It was pretty brutal. His piano broke, so he shot himself. Happens. I also grew up in Iowa. My grandpa, though, he was really ignorant growing up. Like, he still used the phrase colored people when I was a kid. So when I was like 7, I had to tell my grandpa, listen, Grandpa, you can't call them colored people, they are called the Power Rangers, so ignorant piece of shit. I have a really conservative uncle back in Iowa. He was recently passed up for a promotion at work, and his boss told him it was due to seniority. And he immediately used that to blame Mexicans for stealing jobs in this country. I guess he thought someone named Senior Eddie stole his job. Fucking idiot. Alright. I just went back home to Iowa to see my family. It's kind of hard being around my family because they all drink and I don't drink anymore. I take alcoholism pretty seriously because when I was a kid I was hit by a drunk driver. I was 7 years old and I was in the passenger seat, and we pulled up to a stoplight. We go, and then bam, just like out of nowhere, my dad slapped me in the face. Sounds too bad. It's been like 6 years since I drank. My tolerance to alcohol is so low at this point that if I hug my dad, I get a buzz. So it's a good thing we don't hug. No, my parents are weird. Like, growing up, if I would watch a movie with my parents, if there was like a kissing scene in the movie, they would fast forward through the kissing scene, just to get straight to the part where they have sex. So that's weird. My mom saw me do stand-up for the first time recently. After afterwards, she was like, man, all your jokes are so like twisted and dark. You know, I have to ask, are you having suicidal thoughts? I said, no, why? She said, you should be. My mom's had a tough few years. A few years ago, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And then 1 year later, she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. That's a pretty terrible combo, you know, diabetes and breast cancer. Also known as sugar tits. Anyways. Weird things happen when someone in your family gets sick. Like when my mom had cancer, weirdly her cooking got a lot better. She did not change her recipes, but I quit finding hair in my food, which is nice. So, gotta look at the positives, folks. Anyways, so my mom, she had a tumor in one of her breasts, so they had to surgically remove her breast and replace it with a fake boob. So my mom has one fake tit now, which is kind of weird. She has like one perfectly round, perky tit, and then the fake one's the other one. So they're both doing pretty good. Some people are worried AI might ruin stand-up comedy because AI can write jokes now. I don't know about you guys. I'm personally not too worried about it. I feel like AI can keep writing jokes. I don't know if it'll ever fully match the stage presence and charisma of someone like myself. So I'm not too worried. I was eating dinner by myself in my apartment a few days ago. I started choking on my food. Why is that funny? I had to quickly Google how to give yourself the Heimlich maneuver. So I guess you go up to the back of a chair, you thrust your stomach down into the chair. But then I looked around my apartment and I realized I only have beanbag chairs in my apartment. So shout out to my neighbor. She was home at the time and she saved my life. She let me borrow one of her chairs. I'll leave you guys with this little short story here. So I was just back in the Midwest, back in Iowa, got me thinking about high school. There's this one guy in my high school. He was pretty nerdy and unpopular. Until one day someone found out he had a huge dick. And the guy became a legend overnight for the rest of high school. He was just known as the guy with the huge dick. And I'm not here to brag to everyone tonight. But that guy was me, alright? Yeah. I'm the one that found out that guy had a huge cock. Alright, thanks.